Assalamu alaikum.
Walaikum salam.
This is Saidin from China, and this is my individual assignment. I want to make a short video of you, which topic is relationship between politics and economy. There are 7 questions. You just give me the simple answers. It's okay.
I see.
Okay. Number 1 is during your process of growth, has your country's policy changed a lot? Has it ever experienced political or institutional reformation?
Okay, so based on my humble knowledge,
Yeah.
as a 20-year-old living in Singapore,
Oh.
living in a
Oh, you're from Singapore, right?
yeah,
Okay.
living in a metropolis city. So after 52 years of independence, we try to recall back of how Singapore evolved its economy. So from what I've read or from what my teachers have taught me is that Singapore, after its separation from or after its independence from Malaysia, it's
Yeah.
kind of stumbled in terms of politics and in terms of economy. It as in the government faced a high rate of unemployment and so on. So I kind of came across this concept of how Singapore actually evolved its economy. So in this part, there are actually 3 things that Singapore did. Firstly, it is the role of government who is responsible on the refinement or responsibility in bringing up the economy of the country, and subsequently how Singapore managed to maximize or fully utilize its human capital and so on. And thirdly, we could see how there are actually reforms in the involvement of or the creation and invention of industrial and so on. So this has actually brought up or this has actually led to jobs employment, because more industrial will lead to more jobs being created and so on. So Singapore has actually continued its plan, continue its way of developing the country since the 1960s. And also that in today's era, in the 21st century, we kind of witness that the policy that Singapore has created, or the initiative that the government has initiated, is they kind of instill this skills future concept, which you can search on it, which enhance or which encourage Singaporeans to learn on information and technology, so to equip them with better knowledge and to be better on and to get employed in the future and so on, and to face the future challenges. That's all.
Okay. So let's get to number 2. Compared to the former government and this government, has your life been affected or changed? Is there any improvement or betterment in your surroundings?
Okay, as a 20-year-old living in Singapore, after 52 years of independence, we didn't see any new government at all in Singapore, because in this 52 years period, only the ruling party since the beginning has been ruling till today, which is the PAP, People's Action Party. So we hardly see any changes because there's no opposition coming into the office and so on. And this, if we were to look on the initiative that the government has brought, such as the transportation, the housing development, we could see a drastic changes, and that makes us one of the best countries in the world to live in, because we have efficient public transportation, and we have a good housing developmental board and so on. But on a more serious note, as a Singaporean, I think that the cost of living in Singapore is kind of very high, and the government should do something about this, or at least get more opposition to be in the parliament to actually refine or to revise the prices of everything.
Yeah. That's true. Even for the travelers who want to travel to the Singapore, they know that the life expense there is very high.
Life expenses.
Yeah. Okay. Number 3 is as a Muslim, what is your thought toward the future policy of your country?
As a Muslim, what is your thought towards the future policy of your country?
Yeah.
As a Muslim, we actually living in a multiracial country. as a
Singapore
Muslim,
is a majority Muslim country, right?
no, Singapore, majority of them are Chinese, as in, yeah, majority of them are Chinese, and only 17% or less than a million Malay Muslim community. So as part of the Malay Muslim community, we didn't, for the future policy, I tend to feel that there's no discrimination or there's no isolation towards a particular community. So if Singapore were to progress again in the near future, any policies that will be created will see no harm, as in will create no division or will not divide the society. That's all. As in, that's my comment.
Number 4 is as a student of IUM. Here neither your mother tongue nor Chinese or even nor native language do we speak, but a fourth party's language, which is English we are speaking. What do you think of this? And why it is the English we are speaking
Okay,
here?
alright. So to clear things up, it's actually there are many official languages in Singapore. We have Malay as an official language in Singapore. We have also Tamil, and we have also English, we have also Chinese. But the main part is the national language. The national language is actually Malay. But then your question is, what happens if English kind of take over the?
Why do we speak English here? And not we don't speak Malay language, we don't
Okay,
speak Chinese.
alright. It's because English is a universal language. Everyone understands English, and English is the, as I said before, English is a universal language, and it is our task to learn them and to be educated, or as in to equip ourselves with this English language.
But why it is English?
Okay, why is it English?
Yeah.
It's because I really have, based on my humble knowledge, I really have no idea why it is English. Because I only know, or I would like to highlight the point that English is a universal language that is being used around the world, and that is because indirectly making Singapore wanting to practice English, so to actually be progress together with other nations.
So number 6 is, if one day, imagine, if one day your countries declare that its official language will change to English, what do you think of its effect or influence?
Okay, I think the question must be, if one
Is
day,
it possible?
I think
Just
based on your question on Singapore context, it is better to rephrase the question. If one day Singapore were to make English as a national language, because official and national language is actually a very two different meaning. So to make English as a national language, I guess it is kind of it will actually.
so English is already your country's official language, right? Singapore's official language is English.
English is Singapore official language, but then Malay is Singapore's national language. And
Chinese?
and Chinese is official language.
Okay.
Yeah. So
Okay.
I really have no comment about this.
Okay. The Singapore is a little special. So last one is there any relationship between politics and economy? What kind of relationship it is or will be,
Okay, this
in your opinion?
these politics and economies are terms that are very intertwined, or they are interrelated. It's because of, when you say about politics, you couldn't segregate politics from economy, and that's the case for economy also. You couldn't segregate economy with politics, such as if a politician is running for the office, as in he will as in the government is responsible for the GDP, and once we say about GDP is related to economy. So the government itself, as a political organization or a political executive, they are responsible for the GDP's consumption and GDP's investment and so on. So on top of this, I would like to highlight that in politics there are legislature, executive and judiciary. So in legislature part, which is the one who legislated policies and so on, they will actually highlight economic issues such as the trade policies and so on, and that makes politics intertwined or interrelated with economy. So on top of it, I should enlighten you with these cases or the recent cases as in the recent cases in Malaysia, in UK, which is in Malaysia the 1MDB issues. After Najib Razak is being accused with the 1MDB issue, as in he's the political figure in Malaysia. But then after he's being accused as in the case of 1MDB, the ringgit falls. As in the ringgit falls till now. And also to highlight the main issue in UK, the Brexit issue. Once as in after the Brexit, we could actually witness how the UK's currency has actually gone down and so on, and that's really makes politics intertwined or interrelated with economy. That's all.
Okay, thank you so much for your cooperation. Thank you again. Assalamualaikum.
Wassalamualaikum.